having some more conservative voices on your network, actually not making them pariahs, not directing your audience to feel that everything that Donald Trump does.
Panel. She is self-appointed. She knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her talk about
Sunny Hostin, a name synonymous with fiery debates and outspoken opinions, has once again found herself at the center of controversy. This time, it's on a scale that has everyone talking on a popular daytime talk show known for its no-holds-barred discussions, where co-hosts often dive into sensitive topics without restraint. Sunny Hostin made a statement so polarizing that it sparked a firestorm of backlash from both the public and prominent figures alike. What exactly did she say? She waded into the murky waters of religion, morality, and social justice, making remarks that many found not just provocative, but downright...
Sunny Hostin, one of the ladies on The View, she just came out. And you got to give her credit for standing against massive unpopularity.
It all started during a heated segment on The View, where Sunny Hostin, in her characteristic blunt style, made some eyebrow-raising observations about Christianity and contemporary social issues. Sunny, whose parents were involved in the civil rights movement and who frequently speaks passionately about justice and equity, took aim at those opposing progressive ideals. She argued that rejecting so-called woke values was not only misguided but also ungodly and unchristian, a bold claim that immediately set off alarm bells among viewers and critics alike. She contended that the word woke had been co-opted and turned into a slur by those seeking to dismiss social justice efforts. According to her, caring for others, whether it be the LGBTQ...
She just came out at a time when woke is at its absolute lowest. Nobody wants to claim that mantle anymore. She claimed that mantle. And she said to oppose woke, actually, is ungodly and unchristian.
But here's where things get complicated. While Sunny's words may have resonated with some, they struck a particularly harsh chord with others, especially those who see woke culture as a divisive force. Among her most vocal critics was Michael Knowles, a conservative commentator known for his sharp rhetoric and pointed critiques. He wasted no time in tearing into Sunny's remarks, accusing her of twisting Christian teachings to fit her own agenda. Knowles didn't mince words, calling her statements a perverse misrepresentation of Christianity. He went even further, arguing that Sunny's comments undermined centuries of established Christian doctrine.
Right. I don't think you could be called woke if you don't support abortion and so-called trans rights, right?
Michael Knowles, in his scathing response, laid out a historical argument, pointing to early Christian teachings that, in his view, directly contradicted Sunny's claims. He cited scripture and church tradition to argue that Christianity has always maintained clear stances on issues such as the sanctity of life and the immutability of biological gender, but Knowles didn't stop there. He went as far as to accuse Sunny of cherry-picking religious principles to align with progressive ideologies. His critique was blistering, portraying her not just as misguided, but as someone actively distorting the faith for political gain. And if that wasn't enough, he took a final jab.
And she says that if you oppose those things, you are ungodly and unchristian. Even those two words placed together. She is equating godliness with Christianity. So she's saying Christ is God. She's saying Christianity is the true religion. But if you want to really be a Christian, if you want to really be godly, you have to really be a Christian. And if you want to really be a Christian, you have to oppose non-negotiable tenets of Christianity.
The backlash didn't stop there. Sunny's comments opened the floodgates to criticism from viewers, religious figures, and even her own peers in the media. Many accused her of being out of touch, while some went so far as to call her remarks racist and sexist. Critics argued that by framing opposition to progressive values as inherently ungodly, Sunny was effectively dismissing the lived experiences and deeply held beliefs of countless people, particularly those in conservative or religious communities. For many, her words felt like a personal attack.
But who knows better? 2,000 years of Christians, the succession of the popes and the bishops and the priests and Christians for millennia, or Sunny Hostin? No. I guess Sunny Hostin redefines what is Christian.
And let's not forget the internet. Reactions ranged from outrage to outright mockery. Social media users quickly dissected Sunny's statements, with hashtags like #SunnyHostin and #WokeChristianity trending for days. Memes flooded platforms, some ridiculing her for what they saw as hypocrisy, while others expressed genuine anger at the implications of her remarks. Religious leaders also weighed in, reminding their followers that faith should not be weaponized in political.
How does she get there? I was with her when she equated godliness with Christianity, but then she seems to undermine both, because leftism is Christianity without Christ.
But here's where things take a turn. As the controversy grew, some of Sunny's past statements began to resurface, adding fuel to the fire. Critics pointed out that this wasn't her first brush with controversy. Far from it. Over the years, Sunny has made several remarks that have been labeled as divisive, including her infamous take on blaming certain voting demographics for political outcomes she disagreed with. In one instance, she sparked outrage by suggesting that non-college educated white women were voting against their own interests, a comment many saw as reductive and dismissive. And who could forget her claim that Donald Trump's presidency was driven by widespread cultural resentment? While Sunny often frames her views as being rooted,
I think he's doing something a little bit more diabolical, if I'm being honest. Representative Andy Ogles, a Republican of Tennessee, on January 23rd, just 3 days after Trump was inaugurated, already proposed amending the 22nd Amendment to allow Trump to serve a third term.
What makes this controversy particularly striking is the sheer scale of the backlash. While Sunny has always been a polarizing figure, this time feels different. The outrage isn't just coming from one political side, it's cutting across ideological lines. Even some of Sunny's usual supporters have expressed discomfort with her comments, questioning whether she went too far by framing opposition to progressive ideals as inherently immoral. For many, the issue isn't about simply agreeing or disagreeing with her views.
I think he doesn't want he's not going to say that J.D. Vance is a successor because he thinks he's his own successor.
But doesn't that mean that Obama can run also?
Well, you would think so because part of the resolution says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times.
And yet, despite the mounting criticism, Sunny remains unfazed. On subsequent episodes of The View, she continued to defend her position, arguing that her statements were rooted in her own lived experience and upbringing. She pointed to her family's involvement in the civil rights movement as proof of her commitment to justice and equality. But even this defense didn't sit well with everyone. Some accused her of using her background as a shield against legitimate criticism, while others questioned whether her personal experiences gave her the authority to speak so definitively on matters of faith. What's clear is that this controversy has struck a nerve, tapping into deep divisions not just in American society, but within religious communities as well. Sunny's comments have ignited a broader debate about the intersection of faith, politics, and social justice, raising difficult questions about what it...
And I've been criticizing them for 8 years for doing it, pointing out that it's not the job of the media to take sides.
And yet, despite the mounting criticism, Sunny remains unfazed. On subsequent episodes of The View, she continued to defend her position, arguing that her statements were rooted in her own lived experience and upbringing. She pointed to her family's involvement in the civil rights movement as proof of her commitment to justice and equality. But even this defense didn't sit well with everyone. Some accused her of using her background as a shield against legitimate criticism, while others questioned whether her personal experiences gave her the authority to speak so definitively on matters of faith. What's clear is that this controversy has struck a nerve, tapping into deep divisions not just in American society, but within religious communities as well. Sunny's comments have ignited...
Tell them to look at themselves very hard in the mirror and say, have we really not brought this on ourselves?
Sunny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, a respected orthopedic surgeon, has found himself at the center of one of the largest legal cases in New York State's recent history. And this isn't just a minor dispute. This is a sprawling federal lawsuit involving nearly 200 defendants, including doctors, medical personnel, and healthcare providers, all accused of insurance fraud. The lawsuit, filed by American Transit, a commercial auto insurance provider, alleges that Dr. Hostin knowingly engaged in fraudulent practices, performing unnecessary surgeries and billing the company for exorbitant sums. the numbers are staggering. American
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
Now, here's where things get even murkier. While the lawsuit primarily targets Dr. Hostin's medical practice, Hostin Orthopedics, rumors are beginning to swirl about Sunny's potential involvement. Could she, armed with her sharp legal acumen and high-profile platform, have played a role in helping her husband navigate or even cover up these alleged activities? Some speculate that her legal expertise might have been used to advise her husband.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance.
Defending her husband. In public statements, she has slammed American Transit, calling the lawsuit baseless and accusing the company of targeting her husband as part of a smear campaign. She claims the insurer is using her celebrity status to poison public opinion against her family. One of her most memorable lines? She quipped that American Transit would be receiving a PhD from FFO University, a not-so-subtle way of saying they messed with the wrong person. But here's the thing, critics are beginning to wonder if her over-the-top defense is more than just a show of support. Could it be an attempt to deflect attention from her own potential involvement? Sunny's public outrage has been matched by her legal team, which includes high-profile attorney Mark Garagos. Yes, the same Mark Garagos known for representing some of the biggest names in celebrity scandals. He has already threatened to countersue American Transit for defamation, demanding millions in damages for what Sunny and her husband claim is a campaign of harassment. But here's the twist. American Transit isn't backing down. Instead, they've doubled down on their accusations, alleging that Dr. Hostin participated in a systematic effort to exploit New York's no-fault insurance laws, which allow medical providers to bill insurers.
Essentially saying that it's a money grab, and they're also going to countersue for millions of dollars, $5 million.
Adding fuel to the fire are details from the lawsuit's massive 698-page complaint, which outlines specific instances of alleged fraud. For example, it claims that Dr. Hostin performed surgeries on patients involved in minor car accidents, individuals with little to no serious injuries, yet billed American Transit for procedures that may not have been medically necessary. The company also alleges that Dr. Hostin received kickbacks, cleverly disguised as dividends or cash distributions. Whether these claims hold up in court.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
What's particularly striking about this situation is how Sunny has positioned herself as the victim in all of this. She has repeatedly claimed that the lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance company to avoid paying its bills. She's also accused American Transit of targeting her family because of her public profile, alleging that they've plastered her family's photos all over tabloids in an attempt to smear their reputation. But here's the kicker. Some insiders are questioning whether Sunny's celebrity status might actually be making things worse. After all, her high visibility makes it nearly impossible for this case to fly under the radar, and her outspoken responses have only drawn more attention to the legal drama. And let's not forget the timing of all this. The lawsuit was filed just as Sunny was already facing backlash for her controversial remarks on The View. Coincidence? Maybe. But some can't help but wonder if the two issues are feeding into the broader narrative of Sunny being a polarizing and divisive figure. It's a perfect storm of controversy, and Sunny seems to be right at the eye of it. But hold on, because the plot thickens. There are now whispers that federal investigators might be looking into whether Sunny herself benefited from her husband's alleged activities. Could some of the funds from the supposed insurance fraud have made their way into their shared household? And if so, what does that mean for Sunny?
Of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme.
What's clear is that this isn't just a legal battle, it's a PR nightmare. And Sunny, ever the savvy media personality, seems to be acutely aware of that. Her public statements have been carefully crafted to frame her family as the victims of a corrupt and failing insurance company. She's even drawn parallels between her husband's case and broader issues in the healthcare system, accusing companies like American Transit of making it nearly impossible for doctors to get paid for their work.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, You guys would know if your wives were up to.
Meanwhile, the legal proceedings are shaping up to be a long and drawn-out affair. Experts point out that civil cases like this, especially those filed under federal racketeering laws, can take years to resolve. The discovery process alone, where both sides gather evidence and depose witnesses, could drag on for months, if not longer. And with so many defendants involved, the case is likely to be tangled in motions, appeals, and legal maneuvers long before it even approaches trial. For Sunny and her family, that means this cloud of suspicion isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And then there's the question of what this means for Sunny's career. As a co-host of The View, she has built a reputation as a fearless and outspoken commentator, someone who isn't afraid to ruffle feathers. But this latest controversy has put her in an awkward position. On one hand, she's trying to maintain her image as a champion of justice and equity. On the other,